All right. Wow, I'm in the dark. I don't know why the lighting is so bad. Look dark to you, Tommy? Yeah. That's a little better from that angle. Hate that angle, but okay. All right. And lower it down a little bit so it's not just getting the top of my head cut off. There we go. All right. Chag Sameach! Nothing like directing from the microphone. Okay, so, all right, Chag Sameach. It is Shemini Atzeret. Okay, we're all excited about that. We're also sad because that means that this is the conclusion of the feast. And, one of the traditions of looking at Shemini Atzeret is that, we got invited to a week-long feast, and, hey, can we just stay one more day? And so you have this 8th day special festival. And, of course, today is the beginning of the day. We're going to start off with our Youth Presentation Day. YMTOI's Presentation Day, so you get to see what the children have been doing all week, and it's going to be very exciting for that. I do want to praise Yah for all of you that did come in this morning that didn't have to necessarily because you didn't have your children in the program. We do have a few people that are here. The rest of you that are watching at home, you better pray Yeshua doesn't show up in the morning. Because I don't know why you're not here. Now, some of you are under the weather. I get that. But why would you not be here for the children? This place looks empty, relatively speaking. Where are you? I don't understand. Oh, well, we partied all week. Bad planning on your part. These children need you to be here to support them, to encourage them, to appreciate everything. And that concludes your morning scolding. Okay. I look forward to this every year, every feast. This is my favorite part because you children are amazing, and I can't wait to hear you sing. Very exciting. Very exciting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone over to the YMTOI director, my wife, Rebbetzin Julie.
That's great. Okay. Good morning to our MTOI family. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach to you. Thank you. As Rabbi said, I am Rebbetzin Julie Bergson and the YMTOI director. On behalf of Rabbi Steve and myself, I would like to welcome you to our live presentation of our Sukkot 2025 YMTOI presentation program. Thank you. Today, we are going to show and tell everyone what your children have been learning all feast. And our theme for this feast was Psalm 119, which, as you know, has 176 verses, which is no small feat. But your children went through all the verses, except for Torah, Tots, and Katane. But they will show you what they learned all week. This is our third cycle doing Psalm 119. Each time we do it, we make it bigger and better. And I just love my team. They really get into it. As a matter of fact, a lot of the new additions were suggestions by my team. So I'm so proud of that I have people on my team that have the passion that I have for the children. So thank you for that. So the first time we did Psalm 119 was Sukkot 2015. And last time we did it, we were at Ridgecrest, and it was Sukkot 2021. And if you'd like to, on the YMTOI website, you can go under the Feast tab and watch the presentations, the older presentations, where quite a few of the children that are still in the program with us today are much younger looking. And so it's really cute to see them. And I apologize, but this weather has finally gotten to my throat, but Crazy how I'm feeling okay. It's just my throat. So sorry about the frog. Or you can call me, sexy. It's okay. Either way. I'm sorry, children. It's not a word you should know. Anyway, on behalf of all the YMTOI team, I want to thank the MTOI parents for your diligence in teaching your children Torah. I honestly can say this feast, I have noticed that the children were particularly digging into the word and enjoying the classes. It seemed like they were very much participating in it and gleaning a lot of information out of it, and I know our teachers will present that to you as well. So it's been a pleasure working with your children this year. You're doing a great job with them. Throughout this week, your children have been digging deep into Psalm 119. They've gone through stories with visuals, similar to Parsha Pearls. They've had lesson points focusing on either noteworthy verses or the 8 special words that King David used throughout Psalm 119, except for one verse. So he's not as blue as you think, because a true blue would have done all 176 verses. So they've also done games, they've done object lessons, they've even done a song and a snack, all related to Psalm 119, which we will show and tell you. So, as I said, we've also even had a snack, all related to Psalm 119. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my snack coordinator, Mrs. Delia Crumbaker, who will show and tell you about all the wonderful snacks that we had for this feast. Thank you.
Good morning and Hag Sameach Shemini Atzeret. We've had yet another fun-filled feast of YMTOI snacks I had the pleasure of helping to create. I was joined again by my wonderful snack ladies, Miss Vera Linton and Miss Robin Shepard. As Rebbitzin said, the YMTOI theme for this Sukkot was Psalm 119. The snacks we chose for each class were created to look like or resemble their craft, for the most part, in each class. It was amazing how much they truly looked like what the kids were making each day. We were also able to make the full creative snack each day for the good old kids as well. First slide, please. Class 1 on the Holy Day, Tuesday, was Psalm 119:103. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. This craft was represented by 8 words. These words were orders, right rulings, Torah, laws, word, commands, witnesses, and way. We decided to use alphabet cookies and create a crossword-like display for each class. In Katan A, we used the English version, and for Katan B, we used the transliteration in Hebrew. Next slide, please. For their snack, each child got a handful of the alphabet cookies and a honey straw, and they, of course, got to eat the display when they were done. Class 2 was Wednesday morning, and it was Psalm 119:11. I have treasured up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Next slide, please. Yeah. For their snack, each child got a handful of, This class snack was a Torah scroll with a heart. We used a shortbread cookie that had chocolate on it with a pirouette cookie cut in half for the ends of each scroll. We then put a gummy heart on each scroll. The kids in both classes seemed to really understand what this snack was. Class 3, later on Wednesday afternoon, was Psalm 119:18. Open my eyes that I might see wonders from your Torah. This snack was fun and easy, and we got a little goofy with it. The eyes we made with 2 Oreos we opened up and put the lids underneath each. Then we used black frosting to make eyebrows and pupils. And we couldn't help ourselves. We made lots of silly expressions with them before we sent them up to the kids. Class 4 on Thursday morning was Psalm 119:105. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. After a full day of cookies on Wednesday, I'm sure the teachers were very happy to see a healthy snack on this day. Their craft involved a lantern or flashlight, and for our light, we chose Shabbat candles. We made each set of candles with one banana cut into 2 candles and a strawberry cut in half for the flames. Needless to say, the kids loved this one. Class 5 on Thursday afternoon was Psalm 119, 114. You are my hiding place and my shield. I have waited for your word. We decided to go for a savory snack with this one and bypass the sugar altogether. For our shield, we used a slice of Colby Jack, cut into a shield form, and placed a beef salami slice on it, and put our shields on top of a bed of pretzel sticks. Again, I'm sure the teachers appreciated this one since it was lacking in the sugar department. Class 6 was on Shabbat and was Psalm 119, 131. I have opened my mouth and panted, for I have longed for your commands. This snack was by far our most challenging. We created a mouth made of apple slice slips, peanut butter, and mini marshmallow teeth. You can imagine the challenge of getting peanut butter to stick to an open apple slice. After many different versions, we settled on what you see here, but our time was running out. Luckily, Cindy Taylor and Esther Williamson were waiting for us to finish our snacks so that they could start beverages for Shabbat dinner, and they jumped in to help us finish and save the day. While we were working feverishly to get them done, Rebitson came in and with a straight face informed us that we had cross-contamination. We all stopped and looked at her in fear that our snacks may not be usable. We asked her how this could have happened. And she said, well, it seems we have mixed the snack ladies and the beverage ladies. When we all stopped laughing, we breathed a sigh of relief. The finished product was truly hilarious. The snacks looked like a tray full of dentures. The kinds you wind up that clack across the countertop. The kids loved them, and we were able to complete everything on time. Class 7 on Monday morning was definitely our coolest snack this feast. This was Psalm 119, 164. I have praised you 7 times a day because of your righteous right rulings. The kids were making praise tambourines in class, and we decided we could make a snack that looked just like them. We used apple cinnamon rice cakes with fruit laces coming out from under them for the strings, and 6-lit candy-coated chocolate candies for the jingle bells, held on around the edge with marshmallow fluff. Selena Stevenson had made a copy of what went on their craft for us to cut out from cardstock and place on top of each rice cake so that it truly did match the craft. This one took a lot of assembly, but it was amazing when we finished it. While working on, thank you. While working on snacks is a big commitment and a race to make sure we get them done on time, I truly believe we have the most fun volunteer position for the feast. When the kids see us, they chant, snacks, snacks, snacks. And they truly make us feel like rock stars when we come in each day to surprise them with our creations. While working, thank you, Rebitz and Julie, for trusting us with this part of the program, and thank you, kids, for making it the best job ever.
I forgot to say, usually we have crossword puzzles in our Parsha Pearls lesson. See, we had a crossword. It was a snack, but... All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up our Torah Tots Moras, Mora Shannon Langton, as well as Mora Rachel Atkins, to come up and show us and tell us what the Torah Tots did during the feast this year. And they are so cute. Wait till you see them come up on stage.
That's good. Alrighty, Chag Sameach. Well, for those who don't know me, I'm Maura Shannon, and it was a true joy to teach the Torah Tots the Sukkot 2025. I want to give a massive thanks to my incredible helpers, Michelle Robertson and Rachel Atkins. This class ran smoothly every day thanks to them. I also deeply appreciate Rebitson and Julie for providing the lessons that perfectly suited our age group. Thank you, Rebitson. So, our theme for this week was Psalm 119, which we introduced as the longest chapter in the Bible, a testament to King David's profound love for Yahweh's word. We explored this love by connecting verses from the psalm to parts of the human body. So for class 1, this lesson was about the heart, and our focus verse was Psalm 119:11, which is treasuring his word. If you treasure something, then you value it. You believe it to be very special and important. I shared a story about a shy girl trying to make friends. After meeting them, she was invited to a ball game, but without hesitation, she said no, because the game was playing on Saturday. So I asked the children why the little girl couldn't go to the game on Saturday. And Ellie said, because we rest. And Mia added, we watch Rabbi. So for the craft, we included the verse, Psalm 119, verse 11, your word is hidden in my heart. The children colored paper pockets, glued hearts with the verse inside, and placed paper scriptures into the slit, symbolizing the word kept in the heart. Thank you, Miss Rachel, for sharing that. And for the game, we did a scavenger hunt where the children had paper hearts taped on themselves, and they had to go and find personalized Torah scrolls to stick onto their heart. By personalized, I mean they had their names on the Torah scroll. I hid them outside in the Torah Tot playground and had them go find them and stick them to their hearts. They really enjoy that. Children, they love scavenger hunts. They do. They get really animated. So for class 2, we covered 2 lessons in one day. The first lesson was about the eyes, and our focus verse was Psalm 119, verse 18, and it was about opening our eyes. And we shared that it is a prayer request to Yahweh, asking for him to help our understanding. I shared with the children an example of a field of grass. If you look close enough or have an adult show you, you can see that the field of grass is more than just grass. You can also see flowers, like a bunny digging a burrow for her babies, birds digging in the dirt, and even all kinds of bugs like ants and ladybugs. Just like the field of grass, the scriptures may look like just a big book with lots of pages. But if you have a teacher like Rabbi to help you, you can see that this big book holds a lot of nuggets that we can apply to our lives. So I asked them the main following question: who can open our eyes? And Mia beautifully answered, Yahweh and Yeshua. And for the craft, we included Psalm 119, verse 18, open my eyes, that I might see wonders from your Torah. The children colored pictures of a child and glued on eyelids to show the figure opening its eyes. The boys, as you can see, the boys did the boys. And then the girls did the girls. Rachel's about to show you. There's the girls. You can open up her eyelids. Yeah, that was a really cute craft. As you can see, it connected to the verse. And for the next activity, we did a little game of I Spy. We taped pictures of Torah scrolls around the Torah classroom, and they were different colors. And so I'm like, I spy with my little eyes something green, and they would spot all the green Torah scrolls. Same with pink Torah scrolls and purple Torah scrolls. And the kids, they went further, and they spotted like every single object they found in that color in the room. They were like, oh, that's pink. Oh, that's pink. Oh, that's purple. It's like, yep, you guys got good eyes. So now for the second lesson on class 2, this one was about the hands. And our focus verse was Psalm 119:48. And we talked about how we lift up our hands in praise to honor and adore. King David is saying he praises the commands of Yahweh. And I asked, what does it mean to praise Abba? What does it mean? And Tova, she answered, praise is jumping really high. And then I asked a simpler question. I asked, why? Why do we praise Yahweh? Mia answered, we praise him because he kept us safe by providing trees and food. And Tova answered, He gave me parents to keep me safe at the zoo from the bear, just like Rabbi and Elder keeps us safe. And Freddie answered, he kept me safe from my brain exploding. Like, that is good. And then lastly, Mia said, if you listen to him, and he'll keep you safe, and you have to do what he says first, not what you want to do. Yeah. And so for the craft, we included Psalm 119, verse 48, that I might lift up my hands to your commands, which I have loved. And as Miss Rachel is demonstrating, the children fan-folded paper hands and attached them to a page to look like hands for reaching up in praise. Very nice. And for our activity for this lesson, for fun, we went outside with colored streamers, tambourines, and maracas for a moment of free, joyful praise, emphasizing the excitement King David felt for the word. So the kids had fun going outside with their streamers and instruments and playing with them and doing little dances Miss Rachel was showing them. Okay. Now, for class 3, this one was about the mouth, and the focus verse was Psalm 119, 103. And we taught that Yahweh's word, his Torah, his commands, is sweet because it teaches us what to say and do so we can live a happy, fulfilled life. I shared with them a story about a hiking trip. I had everything prepared and packed with me for a long adventure. I had to make a decision on what food to pack, so I made sure it was food that fueled my body. Lo and behold, I ended up hiking up a very steep mountain most of the day and was very hungry when I reached the top. The food I prepared, I ate and realized how delicious it tasted. The hard journey through the wilderness with not much food made the food I brought even better. I asked the children, why do you think Yahweh's word is sweet? And Amadeus, he answered, it's like a sweet treat. It tastes better than anything else. And we had young Palmer answer, the word is good and about good stuff. And for the craft, we included Psalm 119, 103. How sweet to my taste has your word been, more than honey to my mouth. You can see the children, they got to paint bubble wrap in the shape of beehives, which then they attached onto a journal page along with leaves and bees. You can see a boy bee and a girl bee. Yeah, they're very cute. And for the game, we played Honeybee on the Hive, which is pretty much like Pin the Tail on the Donkey. We had two children come up at a time and put a blindfold on them, and they had to place a honeybee with a verse from Psalm 119 onto a beehive, and they had so much fun doing it. There's something about being blindfolded that really excites a child. I don't know what it is. And that was class 3. For class 4, this one was about the feet, and the focus verse was Psalm 119, verse 105. I explained that Yahweh's word, his commands, his Torah, gives light and guidance to my feet. Feet in this verse represent our walk, or how we live this life. If Yahweh's word gives light to my feet, then Yahweh provides the direction for each step I take, making sure I'm going the right way, his way. And we did a very exciting object lesson for this subject. We had the children, and Rachel's about to show you, make their own flashlights out of Pringle cans, cover them with pretty paper, and put inside a tea light. And you can see that there's a boy one and a girl with the verse 105. And after I had them turn on their flashlights, I first asked them, have you ever been afraid of the dark? A lot of them mentioned they were afraid of being by themselves in the dark. And then I asked, how does Yahweh's word give us light? Mia powerfully answered, helps us to see his path, protects us, and rescues us. And so for the object lesson, we turned off the lights, and I tell you, it gets really dark in the Torah Tots room. But when all the flashlights were turned on, oh my gosh, it looked so incredible. And then while the lights were off, I had them walk around the room and find verses carried by the paper bees that we used in the previous game. I spread them out in the room and had them go find them with their flashlights. And Freddie and Mia, they did a great job reading the verses to the younger tots with their flashlights. It was really cool. And you thought that was the craft? No, this was the craft. This craft included Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. The final journal page featured a color lantern, and the children, they took a highlighter to put on the lantern to make it look more illuminated, and a scripture page with the focus verse, and they got to do either a red ribbon bookmark or a blue ribbon bookmark, and you could see the pages flip too. Yeah, very cool. And that was class 4. And class 5, our concluding lesson, was dedicated to the theme of treasure and Yahweh's word. The focus verse was Psalm 119, 162. We reviewed the body parts and focused on how we can use our entire self to rejoice in Yahweh's word. So we shared one of Yeshua's parables about the man finding a treasure in a field. He valued it so much that he sold everything he had just to have that field. We talked about how King David is like the man. King David and this man in the parable rejoice and are so happy with hands up, jumping up and down because they found Yahweh's Torah to be a treasure, and they gladly would give up anything to have that treasure. So first off, I asked the children, what are treasures? Freddie said a box with money in it. Mia said a box of gold. Walter coins. Catherine crowns. Mia diamonds. Hadassah bracelets and earrings. Tova ponies. And that led to my next question. What's a treasure to you? What do you think is a treasure? What do you value? And Mia said, my mom and dad. And Freddie said, my mom, dad, and friends. And Israel said, my dad. And Miss Catherine said, jewelry that goes with my dress-up clothes. My last question was, how can we treasure up Yahweh's word? Mia said, by loving Yahweh, keeping the Shabbat and feast, and don't go off the path, and don't do evil things. That was Mia's long answer for this last question. And for the craft, we included Psalm 119, 162, which is below the scroll. I rejoice at your word as one who finds great treasure. And on the silver piece that you find on the side of the scroll is Psalm 119, verse 72. The Torah of your mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver pieces. And then you look on the gold piece on the other side of the scroll. It reads Psalm 119, 127. Therefore, I have loved your commands more than gold, even fine gold. And for the very last game, we went outside and we played Find the Treasure Maze. We made a little obstacle course, made the path out of pool noodles, and placed frisbees. And if they ever came across a frisbee, they either had to step over the frisbee or hop over it. And if they ever came across a traffic cone, they had to carefully walk around it and not get off the noodle path. We'll put it that way. And at the end was a treasure chest full of prizes. And the treasure chest was crafted by my lovely helper, Miss Michelle. Thank you so much for making that. And we actually ended up doing 2 rounds of this game, so the kids got to take 2 prizes. They were really excited. Yes, this concludes of what we've been teaching the Torah class this feast. Now they're going to come up and share with you their little song they've been practicing with Mashira. Give them a round of applause.
be super scared.
That was truly amazing. Good job, Torah Tots. It's so cute, so cute. I love their dresses. I want a couple of those. You too? Awesome. Okay, so after this, we will now have Katan A. The Katan A Moras come up, Mora Sarah Beth and Mora Deanna Payne, and they will show and tell us what your Katan A children have been doing all feast.
Good morning. Hag Sameach, everyone. How are you doing? All right, this feast, I'm truly had the A team because my team got put together last minute and it was better than anything I've ever had before. It was absolutely phenomenal. just the flexibility, everyone stepping up and managing their areas. So I just want to give a hugest thank you to my team. You guys did absolutely amazing. So I was myself, Maura Deanna, and for our games, oh my God, she does such a good job. Miss Janelle, you made every game 10 times more fun than I could have. So thank you so much. And even though I came in, last couple weeks before the feast and tried to put all of this together real quick, I didn't have to think about the crafts one time because Miss Wendy Hunt had them in the hand. There was not a single problem. So thank you so, so much. You made this feast the absolute best. But we couldn't have done that without you amazing helpers either. You guys came in and seamlessly supported us, made it possible for us to do our jobs because you did your job so fantabulous. So thank you so much. So it was my pleasure to get to present to Catan A, Psalm 119. And I had to figure out what was the best kind of way to present it. So we talked about who King David was. I'm going to give them a, why are we interested in Psalm 119? So we talked about why we should emulate him, because he was a man that Yahweh was very pleased with, a man that Yahweh praised, blessed, and had a good relationship with. All things we want, right? I asked the kids if they could have what King David had, and they all loudly asserted that they could not. And it was my great pleasure to pop that delusion. It was beautiful to see their eyes popping with surprise, followed closely by genuine curiosity, as I explained that if we do what King David did, we can have what he had. It's simple math. Poor Joey's mouth about hit the floor as he just kept saying, wait, what? And Harper thought about it, you could tell her brain was working. There was smoke coming out of those ears. She's like, it is math. It's just math. If we do what he did, we can have what he had. So this led us on an adventure, looking for clues in Psalm 119 to see if we could figure out what it was that King David did. So in class 1, we focused on verse 103, and we discovered that King David desired to eat the word as if it was his favorite treat. He strengthened himself with it, making it a part of himself, internalizing it. And at one point, I instructed the kids to visualize their favorite treat. And unfortunately for them, the result of this exercise was that all of a sudden, they were very hungry, which beautifully made my point that we can grow our desire by what we focus on. If we have the word in our hearts or on our minds, right? Just like that treat was visualized in their little brains, we will be cultivating a desire like King David had. And what did King David desire? But the Torah, right? He was trying to treasure up the Torah in his heart. So for our game, we did a relay race. And we converted little paper towel rolls to Torah scrolls. And we put them in a bucket and had the children run to get to that Torah and get as much of it as they could. So they got to create a beautiful visual of eagerly running after the Torah, trying to get as much as they could. All right, and for our craft, we made a gumball machine. And there is a coin in that gumball machine that looks suspiciously like an MTOI coin. Very creative, Miss Selena. I'm pretty sure that was somehow your doing. No, not this time? Okay, Miss Vera, thank you. All right, so for our gumball machine, you'll notice there are some special gumballs in there. They have our 8 special words on them. Right rulings, way, laws, witnesses, word, commands, orders, all the words that King David loved and talked about extensively. All right, so for our next class, we were talking about Psalm 119, 11, and 89. And for our craft, we made a heart. Now, this heart was very special because each heart got to be specialized for the children. Thank you again. I think this one was you, Miss Selena. Okay, this one was you. You made each kid a name they could put on their heart, and somebody talked me into letting them do glitter on those names, and they look very pretty. Yes, they do. I didn't have to do the glitter. Miss Wendy did it, so there was lots of glitter, and the kids had fun. If you can't tell, I don't like glitter. It's only second worst to puffy paint. Thank heavens they did not make me do puffy paint. But so inside of our heart, we have our verses. And on the top, we have verse 89. Forever, O Yahweh, your word stands firm in the heavens. And in the bottom, I have treasured up your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you. All right, so speaking of treasuring it up in our hearts, for our class, we went looking again for clues. And we discovered that King David had a plan. He prepared and he planned for his life to protect his relationship with Yahweh. He valued the word in his heart, collecting it like treasure in the place his actions come from. We found that King David saw the word as the final authority, the boss of his entire life. But not just as a set of rules, but something he could depend on to always be right and unchanging. Like Miss Cassie said, it's hard to move someone who's standing firmly. So then for our game, went very, very beautifully with my lesson because they got to play charades. And in the game, somebody was obviously acting out, but then the children had to remember the word. And if they hadn't put it in their heart and already knew the stories, they did rather poorly. Several times, they knew it. They knew the answer. They were like, oh, I know who this is, and they could tell me all about him. But they couldn't tell me his name. So the other team got to steal their point. They were not happy, but they were so much smoke in that room. Their little brains were going so hard, and they were so engaged, and they were trying so hard to remember the word, and they were very frustrated when they couldn't. So hopefully I saw a lot of determination that before next feast, they will have memorized some more things, so when I make you play it again, you'll have the word ready in your heart. Right, Katane? Okay. All right, so then for our next craft, in our next class, we focused on Psalm 119:18. Open my eyes that I might see wonders from your Torah. And you'll notice that these eyes are like not just paper printed, but we actually got to build them. And we gave them eyelashes, and they got to pick what color eye they wanted. And I think a few of the boys made funny faces, and their eyes are looking cross-eyed at people. So they had a lot of fun with this one. And then in our lesson portion, we discovered that King David was asking for help as he searched for Yahweh's wonders. And that before he could search, he had to first believe that there were wonders to find. I asked the children how we could use these clues in our lives, and of course, Serena's hand went right up, suggesting that we pray like King David did. So somebody was listening. We also discovered that we should ask, seek, and search the word. And most importantly, when we find them, we need to let those wonders change our lives. And because we're not just, collecting all these clues to do nothing. We're collecting these clues to change us and make us the best version of who we ultimately will be. All right, so then for our game, Miss Shannon most perfectly said that they like scavenger hunts, so we played a scavenger hunt. But we took it to a little crazy level. Somebody had a bright idea to turn off the lights and give 17 children flashlights. I am so sorry, helpers. We did a scavenger hunt. One of the times we played the game, they had to go find the treasure. There were little gems that Miss Janelle hid all over the classroom. And they loved that. Next level of the game was they played bingo. And they had to go find all the words and all the pieces that went on their bingo card and see who got it first. It was some very stiff competition, and they had to pay attention because some of the cards almost matched, but they didn't. And they were paying attention. It's like, nope, this one doesn't match. Oh, I got to go find the right one. And they were searching with their little lights to find the words that matched their bingo card. It was really, really fun. All right, so then for our next class, we focused on Psalm 119, 105, and we made a flashlight baggie scene. And it's really, really cute. They did a really good job. They got to color the bag. And the verse up there is, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And as you see, the flashlight moves around. Very, very fun. It's really cool. We had to stop some of our very great artists because they were going to color every single inch of the entire baggie and make an absolute masterpieces. So I'm sorry, parents, if some of you still have some more work to do on your masterpieces when you get home. They're a little bit not finished or not exactly as your child would like them, so they will need to finish those. Okay, so for this lesson, our clues, the ones we discovered for this verse, were that life is like a deep, dark forest, to quote Harper. And in Alice's very dramatic words, if we don't take our light with us, we might end up in the belly of a whale. Oh, not a whale. Whales don't live in the forest, do they? A wolf, right? It might be a wolf. Sorry, Miss Alice, I didn't mean to misquote you. I'm still on Yom Kippur with the whale. All right. So King David made sure that he traveled with the word, lighting his path. He didn't forget it at home. He took it with him wherever he went. And just like the light removes the scary darkness, so Yahweh's word comforts us and removes our fears. And if we want what he had, we need to do what he did. So for our game, Miss Janelle took pool noodles, stepping stones. There was even a tunnel involved, a balance beam. There was all kinds of things that she used to create an obstacle course. And someone didn't learn her lesson and turned off the lights again and made them do the obstacle course in the dark. Again, handing 17 children flashlights. I'm sorry, my second group of helpers. Thank you, you girls were troopers. Which shouldn't have been a problem, but somehow they turned into strobe lights. I don't know why flashlights need to go on the ceiling or in the helper's eyes. I don't know why that's required, but apparently it is, at least at this age group. And as part of the game, they had to go through this course, but it was dark. There was no clear path necessarily. Even though they had their lights, they still needed to listen for instruction. And that's what we need to do with the word. We need to listen for instruction and hear that, while the light may show us the path, there still may be slight nuances, like which direction to take on that path when there's a fork or when you have to go under something that might hurt you, like a table. So it was a really, really, really beautiful object lesson of exactly what we need to do in our lives. All right, and then for our next craft and lesson, we made a paper shield for Psalm 119, 114. And it says, you are my hiding place and my shield. I have waited for your word. I had to stop the boys from now starting fights just so they could use their shields. They were very excited by this. So in this verse, we discovered that King David went to Yahweh to keep him safe. And he waited on Yahweh's word. But like with the wonders from class 3, he first had to believe that what he needed was there, or why would he wait on it? Like those of us who have counseled with Rabbi, know that the answers will be provided before we even make the appointment. King David expected Yahweh to have the solution for whatever he was facing. King David saw Yahweh as his hero. And I kind of put the guys on the spot in the classroom, all my gentlemen helpers. It's like you guys love being heroes to your family. That's your role. That you enjoy that. But if we don't use you as our heroes, just like Yahweh is ready and waiting for us to come to him, it makes you dads really sad if we don't let you be our heroes. Same with Yahweh. If we don't use him as our refuge, it makes him sad. It means we don't trust him, and we don't think he's big enough to keep us safe. Speaking of keeping us safe, I should pay my helpers hazard pay. Okay, so for our game, we played a ping pong fight. The children had a shield. Teachers and helpers, not so much. So the children had to lob ping pongs at each other, and the goal was to be the team with the most members still standing. So if you got hit with a ping pong ball because you were outside of your shield and you weren't crouched down under your shield, you're out. So I think the team with the most people standing at the end was blue team, I think, and that was 3 people, and that was after 8. So 5 people got lost, and the second team had even less. So they had a lot of fun, not so much staying behind the shield, but they had a lot of fun. It might be something to do with the fact that there was only girls left standing. All the boys had taken the hit for the team. All right, so to our next craft and lesson, we made a praise tambourine out of paper plates. And on the first side, we have verse 164, which says, I have praised you 7 times a day because of your righteous right rulings. And on the flip side, it says from verse 175, my being lives and it praises you, and your right rulings help me. As you can see, we have pipe cleaner attached to little bells, so when you jingle it, it makes a delightful little noise. All right, so then for these verses, we learned that King David had daily habits to feed his spirit and focus his mind, one of which was praise. It's a powerful tool, but just like a tool, it does us no good if we don't use it. We found that David wasn't just praising Yah for being alive, but that his relationship with Yahweh gave him purpose and joy. He wasn't just existing. He was really living. The kids connected this in our kind of questions going back and forth about what does that mean. The kids connected this to their teachers as they saw us working very hard all feast, early mornings, some late nights, but they noticed that we had the best time because we had a compelling purpose that brought us great joy, just like King David had with his relationship with Yahweh. And we did a little exercise with the kids where we got to practice. What is it? What is Yahweh just sitting there wanting us to tell us how good he is? Like, tell me how good I am. No. Yahweh's doing this for our good, right? Praise is for our good. So then we did a little exercise. I was like, okay, we're feeling really good right now. How does everybody feel? And they all gave me 10s, right? They feel great. And so then we went and discussed some negative things. A dog died. I have to go home tomorrow. I have to, snack is delayed. This teacher won't let me eat my snack yet. So some of us, it was about children leaving Katane. How dare you grow up? And then I was like, okay, well, how do you feel now? Meh, not so good. I was like, okay, let's flip it around. What do you think? What are you thankful for? And then they started listing all the things, birthdays and Katan A and congregation and rabbi, that I live in Cleveland, all these wonderful things, and I'm about to move to Katan B. And I was like, oh, well, that's amazing. How do you all feel? And they're like, oh, so praise changed you. Isn't that our point? To change us? So praise helped them physically work on changing themselves to be more like Yahweh and being happier, healthy human beings, which is part of the reason Yahweh tells us to do it. So the last thing we learned from this verse, these 2 verses, was that David loved Yahweh's right rulings, much like the kids loved clear, defined, fair rules for gameplay. Even if the enforcement of those rules meant they lost, they were still happy that the rules were the rules, and they were unchanging and unmoving, and they were fair, just decisions. Just like Yahweh's Torah is clear, defined, fair, just decisions. Speaking of gameplay, so we had a dance party. We got out and we praised, and we used our tambourines and played like a freeze game. So they had to dance around and have fun, not hurting each other and not destroying your beautiful tambourines, although some of them, I'm sorry, Joey's probably doesn't look the same as it used to, but they had a great blast. But one of the really cool dynamics was that I gave them a save. If they didn't freeze properly, they could stay in the game if they said something they were thankful for. Well, that quickly turned into we had no losers. So, and not to mention, not only did we have no losers, but everyone was happy to say, I messed up. Even if the helpers didn't catch them, like, I messed up. I need to say something I'm thankful for before we can start dancing again. And just the fact that they were so relaxed with saying, I messed up, let me fix it. They weren't just trying to get a chance to talk. They were legitimately, I messed up, I need to fix it, let me fix it, so we can play the game. They wanted to follow the rules fairly and be just about it. So I got to take that moment and interrupt, like I tend to do, and have a teachable moment. In this kingdom race, there are no winners or losers necessarily. Somebody getting there first doesn't mean you lost. We all have to run our race and play the best we can. And part of that is fixing our mistakes and being comfortable with that and letting someone know, hey, I messed up and there's a path to fix it. And that is the way Yahweh is. He will let us fix it. So that was really, really beautiful. All right, so then for our last class, we talked about verse 131, and we made paper lips with a mouth and a tongue, and they talked me into glitter glue again. So, inside joke, sorry. I growl every time they tell me there's a craft with glitter glue on it. So on this one, we have the verse, I have opened my mouth and panted, for I have longed for your commands. And they got to, I'm pretty sure some of the lips I saw didn't have glitter glue on them. I'm pretty sure the boys opted out. So I'm sure there's boy-girl lips over there somewhere in those bags. All right, so then what we learned in these verses was that King David was eager for Yahweh's commands, like a baby bird wanting food. Cheep, 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 feed me now. Kind of like Joey and Jeremiah. But that sounds counterintuitive. Why would we want rules that bad? And Katane had some really good answers. Like, you need the recipe to bake the cookies. Serena was very adamant you had to follow the recipe and you needed to know the rules or the cookies would be bad. And then if you want to learn how to drive, you better know the rules of the road because otherwise you're not going to be safe. The rules keep us safe. They tell us, where we're going to be safe in so many areas, not just driving. But my favorite example was when they were eagerly waiting for Miss Janelle to go over their game rules. They were like coming out of their skin. Tell me already, what are the rules? They're like, give me rules. And I'm like, why do you want the instructions so bad? And Cassie said, so we can win. Makes sense. Speaking of winning, and life is the game we're trying to win, Joey took us on a delightful little rabbit trail. And we talked about commands. So we were talking about commandments, of course, because that's in the verse. And somebody quoted the fifth commandment incorrectly, saying that we have to obey our parents. But it says honor, not obey. Wait, what? Now, hold on, parents. Don't be mad at me yet. I told them that when they get to be adults, they will have to make all their own decisions. It's really helpful to get advice from our elders. Highly recommend it. But in the end, you have to choose. And Joey asked just to clarify. So when Yeshua became an adult, I love watching this thought pattern here. He's like, okay, so what did Yeshua do? So when Yeshua became an adult, he didn't have to obey his parents? And the answer is no, he didn't have to. There's a couple times he chose to honor them, but he didn't have to. You could see the gears turning here. So, of course, he got really excited, thinking he would get to do whatever he wants. So we got to talk about bills and jobs and what if you want to obey Yahweh. Then you'll be choosing, because you do get to choose to do whatever you want, but you will be choosing whether you want a house to live in or you want to eat food. You will be choosing what you are giving away. So if you choose you want to follow Yahweh, you'll be choosing not to do, in some areas, whatever you want. As you can imagine, the engagement level was really high at this point. Everyone was listening with rapt attention as I told them that now is the time to learn everything you can so you can be the best future boss of your lives that you can possibly be. Now is the time to really listen to what your parents are trying to tell you and listen to your teachers. Because soon, and even now, in the classroom, some children chose to listen, some children chose to wonder about the game. They weren't listening as much. But you're making choices right now, and you will have to make choices about where your life will go. What direction will you take? What fruit will you get? Will you win this game of life? Will you become like King David with a heart like Yahweh? Or will you miss the kingdom path? Will you end up with a tummy ache because you were a bad boss and let yourself eat all the candy all day? What are you choosing? So we gave him some practice to follow commands. And they got to play red light, green light. Walking, no running. You had to follow the commands carefully and listen for them. And again, they were very eager for the rules. Very eager. They also had to balance a gem on a wooden spoon and play a relay race. And it was so cool. The winning team walked carefully and kept that gem safe. It never fell, so that they didn't have to slow down. They got to just run the race. But I think the team that actually got the most out of the game was the team that lost. Because when they lost and the other team crossed that finish line, they didn't stop. They kept running. They finished the race. And it was one of the most beautiful things I've seen, because they didn't just, I can't make it. But that's what we do with the Torah, right? I might not make it. Somebody else is ahead of me. I'm behind. I'm never going to make it. Well, they weren't going to make it, but he kept finishing the race. And I thought that was the most beautiful thing. So let us, enough of me, let's hear from the children that did all this work this feast.
being lived, and it praises you, and your right rulings help me.
That was awesome, Katane. I see some more dresses I want to add to my closet. Such cute dresses. And the boys look so handsome as well. All right. I do want to say something. You know, they did a really great job doing those 8 memory verses, and a lot of people were saying, man, that's a lot for kids to know. I want to tell you something. Back in 2021, we had a challenge, and we picked one verse from every stanza. There are 22 stanzas. And we had a challenge, and you had to go to someone in leadership and recite a verse from every stanza that we gave you. We gave you a particular verse from every stanza. And we had quite a few students that completed that challenge and got an award at the end, including my daughter. Actually, it was only the girls who completed the challenge. There was not one single boy that completed the challenge. So we didn't do it this time, so be grateful we didn't do that, parents. But they did a great job, and especially because they're so young, it goes to show you it doesn't matter how young you are. You know, there's a lot of examples in scriptures of young leaders who knew the word and were in leadership positions, so don't count them out. All right, thank you. It is my pleasure at this time to now bring up the Catan Beat Moras. Mora, oh shoot, what's your name? Jessica. You do draw a blank up here. Mora Jessica, as well as Mora Selena. All right, here we go.
It's okay, I forgot my name too. I think that's good. If it's not, I can stand on my tippy toes. I'm good. Okay, Hag Sameach. Okay, so hi, I'm the Catan B teacher, Jessica, Crazy Yellow. But for this feast with Psalm 119, of course, Catan B takes things to the next level. And one of the things I wanted to show them was guarding Torah and then also accountability. So I don't know if it'll show well, but we designed these little coins. Can you see those? And the kids had to hold the coin and guard it the entire feast. So we had a challenge that if you did not have your coin, every class, when I would say, hey guys, coin challenge, or I'd take it and scratch my chin with it, if they didn't have their coin, for the boys, they had to do 5 push-ups, and for the girls, they had to do 5 jumping jacks. And they were allowed to challenge each other outside of class. Oh, look, they're holding their coins up now. Good job, Catan B. So challenging each other was great, but the whole purpose of that was for sure accountability and learning to guard. So let's go into what I actually taught them. So class 1, we did an introduction into Psalm 119. We talked about it having 176 verses. We talked about King David creating it, basically, or writing it, to teach his son the Aleph Bet. We also went through Aleph and Bet. On that first lesson, we defined all of the 8 words as far as like their Hebrew definitions or Hebrew translations. So obviously Torah is in Hebrew, so it means your teachings or instructions. Way is derech. The witnesses is eduth. Word is devar or imra. Orders is pikudim. Laws, hukim. Commands, mitzvot. And right rulings, mishpatim. So we also talked about in Deuteronomy 4:2, initially, that Yahweh wants us to guard his word. We're not supposed to add anything, and we're not supposed to take away from it. And I was really impressed that the children knew that Christianity seems to take away from it, while Judaism seems to add to it. We also covered 1 Timothy 4:12, which talks about let no one look down on your youth, but be in love and belief and cleanliness. And so I talked about how they were children, but they could still be a really good example for the people around them. And being young doesn't mean you can't be righteous. So I asked them, what are some examples or ways that you could show other people exemplary behavior? And they said by respecting their parents, when they go into the store, paying attention to themselves, being self-aware. It was a really great time. So we defined a few words. We talked about the word recount, which you'll see later in the presentation. And we defined that as giving an account. So we talked about recounting Yahweh's word. So remembering the things that we're taught and then using it in conversation, using it in our daily lives. You know, when we sit in our house, when we walk by the way. We talked about what reproach was, which is a disapproval or disappointment. And I'm like, what could you do that would disappoint your parents? And a lot of the children said, not clean my room. That was a popular option. Yeah, and not tell the truth. And then I said, well, you know, when you tell the truth and you do what's right, don't your parents want to bless you? And everyone said yes. So I said, it's the same thing. We're blessed when we keep the word of Yahweh. We also defined revive, which is to give new strength or energy. And we talked about things that would revive us. And at first, the class was a little shaky on it. They were saying, like, meditate, yoga. I was like, maybe that puts you to sleep. And someone said caffeine, and I was like, you don't need any of that. So, but we talked about how Yahweh's word does revive us. It wakes us up. It refreshes our beings. And then we went through Philippians 4:8. It says, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is righteous, whatever is clean, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, if there's any uprightness and if there's any praise, think on these. So we talked about having positive talk and having positive thoughts. We did also go over Yahweh's attributes because at this point in the lesson, we were talking about righteousness and truth and things that Yahweh is famous for and things that are true about him. Okay, so part of the first class, which we didn't finish until second, is I asked them to write down something about them, an attribute about them, that if they were to say it out loud or if someone were to read it, they would know it would be them. So class 2, we covered Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and Vav. And we went over scorning, which is rejecting or refusing someone. We talked about not acting out based on our emotions. So in those stanzas, we saw that King David was very emotional. And I talked to them. I'm like, when you're angry, is it the right thing to do to lash out on someone based on your anger? And they said no. And I said, well, have you ever done it? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what were the consequences? The consequences were pretty dire. And I'm like, can you give me an example in Scripture where someone had an emotional response and it didn't work out well for them? And they were like, Moshe striking the rock. I'm like, So Moshe was angry for a moment. He made one small action and it had great consequences. So it was good for the kids to kind of equate that to themselves. Like, I can make one small mistake based on my emotions and it would have a huge impact on the rest of my life. Class 3, we went over Zayin, Chet, Tet, and Yod. And we talked about Shema, which is hearing and doing Yahweh's word. We went through Binah, which is understand, and we went into depth on that. It means to separate, to distinguish, have insight and reason. And we talked about having anxiety for not trusting Yahweh's word. But if we trust in his word, we would have that deep sense of shalom, of peace. And I had the children try an example when we were talking about praise. I'm like, all right, everybody get out of your chair, stand up, put your hands in the air, drop to your knees. It was so funny. And I was like, and after we calmed down our funnies, I was like, all right, close your eyes and find something privately between you and Yahweh to thank him for. It was a really solemn moment, and it was nice to see children that are starting to come into this transitional age between little kid and teenager. It was nice to see them have a connecting moment with Yahweh in class. And there was no judgment, of course. Class 4, we went over Kaf, Lamed, and Mem. And we talked about Zachar, which is to remember, but it's an action-oriented remembrance. So it's remembering Yahweh's word and then taking action in the future. So kind of like a hear and do, like Shema. So if I remember to keep Shabbat, that means on Shabbat, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm going to focus on Yahweh. So I asked them to remember something that Yahweh did for them. And it was amazing because we had full class participation every class. Every child had something to say that Yahweh did for them and that they were grateful for. We also talked about portion, which is helek. And we talked about how the Levites had no inheritance among the children of Yisrael, but Yahweh was their portion, and how Yahweh is our portion in our lives. And we talked about the Torah blessing us, keeping us safe, transforming us into the image of Yeshua. We went through da'at, which, again, there's going to be a lot of Hebrew words, guys. Bear with me. Da'at, which is knowledge, but we talked about it's knowing who Yahweh is, and that knowledge includes obedience to his word. Because if you don't know what's right, you can't do what's right. But once you have that knowledge of Yahweh, you have to do what's right. We went through Job chapter 22, verses 25 through 26, and it says, "The Almighty shall be your gold and silver, and you shall delight in him." And I asked the class, I'm like, okay, so why is he more precious to us than silver and gold? Why is Yahweh the most precious thing? Why is his word the most precious thing? And they said, well, gold and silver, it means nothing. It could go away, you could lose it, but Yahweh will be here forever. And I said, exactly. And speaking of forever, the next Hebrew word was olam, which means forever. And we talked about Yahweh's trustworthiness being forever and his righteousness being forever. And then before I hit class 5, I do want to say that I finally told the kids, all right, let's open up your note-taking books and tell me about the attributes you had for yourself. And it really touched myself and everyone else in the room because we had a very sweet, shy little girl, and she's, at first didn't want to talk much, but by the end of class, she was super open, and she stood up and she was like, I am sweet, I am gentle, I am kind, I'm a good big sister. And then everyone just shot their hand up and they wanted to say something nice about themselves. And it went from being just kind of an exercise on describing yourself to a moment of complete positive self-talk among the classroom. And I loved that. I love it for us, yes. Okay, almost done here, guys. So class 5, we covered Nun, Samech, and Ayin. And we talked about Psalm 119:74, waiting on Yahweh's timing and having patience. We went through the word study, which is sicha. And we talked about how that's studying to understand Yahweh's word. Let's see, class 6, we did Pei, Sadi, and Kof. And then, let's see. Oh, I wanted to bring something else up really quick. Okay, these 3 Hebrew words. We did Sadiq, which is righteous, Emet, which is truth, Shalom, which is peace. But we did have these moments in between lessons, because I have ADHD, where we would do a skit or put something fun on the board to move up. And let me just take this moment and say, every parent helper that served in my class, you guys are fantastic humans. Top tier. I gave them a theme that would connect to the lesson. Like some of those themes were like the golden calf. And then we had Samson, and we had the Garden of Eden. And I was just like, this is the theme, be dramatic, bye-bye. And they were like, what? And so they came and they just completely opened up and expressed themselves and made the best skits ever for the class. So I want to say a deep thanks to you guys for that. And, oh yeah, you could clap. They deserve it. It was awesome. All right, so class 7, we did Resh, Sheen, and Tav. We talked about how Yahweh is the lamp to our feet and the light to our path. And we talked about focusing on the path in front of us and not judging left and right. So one of our classroom rules is that we're not to judge or bully each other in any way. We talked about having faithful words and faithful thoughts, keeping our word. And then we talked about having a longing desire to understand Yahweh's word and how we're not the ones that would define righteousness. It would be Yahweh that defines it. And so for us, the more we want to know him, the deeper the desire needs to be. So that's what I taught them this week, and I'm going to give it over to Selena for our crafts.
And Jessica's going to be my Vanna. So we do notebook pages in Catan B. So it's just a craft on a notebook page, basically. This is our second time doing these exact ones, and I did hold them up last time, but I didn't get to talk about them, so I get to talk about them this time. So we had 7 classes, so we have 7 notebook pages, and there are several verses on each one, and it's based on theme. So we were kind of doing parts and pieces of all the crafts all week long. So the last day we ended up with like 3. So this is our first one that we have, okay? And so we're supposed to love his word. So the first thing we have is this heart. This is cutting in and out, okay. Can you guys, it's okay, right? Okay. So we are supposed to love his word, and the first thing we have is a bookmark with the 8 words, and they colored that when she was doing the introduction. So we have the 8 words here. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so, and we have those 8 words kind of hidden in our heart. So The first one is this woven heart, and that's got verse 80 on it, and it says, "Let my heart be perfect in your laws, so that I am not put to shame." So they got to weave that together, and then this is just an alternate color scheme. They all had a different color. Okay, so, and then we have another heart. This one actually has David on it, and that is verse 41, "That I might delight myself in your commands, which I have loved." So that's why we have the heart, because it talks about love. And then this last one is verse 11, "I have treasured up your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you." So this is the first one. We have our second one. Okay, that is, it's 2 feet, and as you can see, it's related to the path and one of the 8 words, which is way. So we have a daytime path, and then we have a nighttime path. The first one here, we've had a verse 1 on the little piece of sidewalk that blessed are the perfect in the way who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. And then the next time we worked on this craft, we made this little sign here, and that is always so much fun. They got to color the little pieces any color they wanted, and then we stuck it down. "Make me walk in the path of your commands, for I have delighted in it." So there's our road sign. And then this is the nighttime foot, and it's nighttime because Rabbi talks about, you know, when you, okay, so the verse is 105, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." So with a lamp, you can't see that far. You can only see a little way. So that's why this is the nighttime. So we have a little boy, and then this is that's the little girl. So the boys got boys and the girls got girls. So our next one, okay, yeah. So this is the cave, and this, there is a soldier guarding the cave. In the cave, we have, "You are my hiding place and my shield." Oh, wait, that's not, yes, it is. Okay, "You are my hiding place and my shield. I have waited for your word." So that verse is, you know, hidden in the cave. And then we have this soldier with a shield, and on his shield, of the soldier that's guarding that cave, "Revive me according to your kindness, that I might guard the witness of your mouth." So he's guarding. And then we have these 2 guys that are companions. And this man is saying, "I am companion of all who fear you and of those guarding your orders." So that is this craft. And then I like this one in particular because Miss Vera drew Rabbi. So this is our Torah craft. There's actually only, okay, well, first of all, he's got a little tzitzit on. They got to glue one of those on. This is our Torah craft. It only has 1 verse on it, verse 97. "Oh, how I love Torah. It is my study all day long." So we have the Torah scroll. Is this cutting in and out? Do you want me to switch to the microphone? Okay. Is it on? Okay, we can do it this way. Okay, so we had these little things that we stuck down, and there's some children studying, and then we have the Hebrew word sikha, which means study. So that is that one. And then our next craft is a nighttime scene, and this craft actually has David on there. So there are 2 verses in the nighttime sky. Verse 89, "Forever, O Yahweh, your word stands firm in the heavens." And then 151, "You are near, O Yahweh, and all your commands are truth." So this is kind of a scene of David connecting with Yahweh. And in his conversation bubble, he's saying, "I have remembered your name in the night, O Yahweh, and I guard your Torah." And then verse 142 is in the rock. "Your righteousness is forever, and your Torah is truth." So they got to do glitter glue on that, and I am a fan of glitter glue. And these kids were totally awesome, and everything went well. So the next one, there are 2 versions. The kids got to make their own face. So when we did these last time, I actually picked my kids' glasses. So we have these glasses for one of my kids, and then that was, well, you can't see that. That's the option for the other. And then the ladies had these or these. So they all got to draw their own face. On the glasses are verses 18, open my eyes, that I might see wonders from your Torah, and 135, make your face shine upon your servant and teach me your laws. And so they had a really good time doing that. And then, they had to stick the mouth on there at the end. My tongue sings of your word, for all your commands are righteousness. So we have that. And then the next one is for right rulings, and that is one of our 8 words. This one was pretty simple. The main point of this was the glitter glue, of course. So it is shiny. So they stuck the 2 sides on and then did glitter glue how they wanted it. So it has verse 30, I have chosen the way of truth. Your right rulings I have held level. And the sum of your word is truth, and all your righteous right rulings are forever. That's verse 160. Okay, and then there is one more. This is our last craft that we did. So this is a treasure box, and we had the treasure box before the other classes did. We just copied it to theirs. They made this treasure box. They got to do glitter glue and sequins, and it had this lock on it, and it opens like this and like that, and they got to put gems inside. So the big gem here says, is verse 162, I rejoice at your word as one who finds great treasure. And then on the silver piece, the Torah of your mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver pieces. And then on the gold piece, therefore I have loved your commands more than gold, even fine gold. And we have this nifty little, our Parsha Pearls gem here in the middle. So that was my favorite. Those all turned out really well. You'll see that in the slideshow. And that is it for the crafts.
Okay, so I did want to mention one other thing really quickly before they perform the amazing song. Well, 2 things. So one, on one of our classes, I called Uncle Bob to come in there and spend some time with the children. It was an amazing time. We loved having him in there. He quizzed them on some of the things they learned in class, which impressed me because I was like, oh, the retention. And then they did do the song for Uncle Bob because he's always in the kitchen, and we love you. Thank you for the amazing food. The kids are going to perform the song, and there's one big noticeable thing. Brianna, who wrote this amazing song, will be in the middle of the children, and there will be, for one of the first times ever, no one doing the hand motions with Katan B. They are on their own, very mature, showing their own trustworthiness. All right. Good job, Catan B, doing this all by themselves with nobody in front of them. All right. So at this time, listen, that's impressive. Okay, so at this time I'm going to go over the games, and then we have one more thing to show you. So for the first game, we did a game called Remembering the Torah. And so it's just different trivia questions from Scripture. And really, we had these cute little cards. We have some of them here to show you. We used the cards for two different reasons. Selena has them up. Perfect. And what we kind of did for this one is we used a lot of the themes of previous teaching lessons. So we have the Beatitudes, we have the fruit of the Spirit, we have Proverbs, 7 things Yahweh hates. We even have Psalm 119. And so we had categories. We had the Torah, the writings, the prophets, and the Brit. And the kids had to take the cards in teams and then categorize where they went. It was really fun. And then so we had something called Way of Yahweh. And we had chairs and pool noodles. And, of course, they were blindfolded. You know, I like those torture tactics for children. And we made an obstacle course. And they were blindfolded, and they had to verbally lead someone through the obstacle course. Another one of the games that we did has a poster board. It's called the Word of Yah. So I thought it would be amazing to make these giant poster boards for word searches, the biggest ones you've ever seen in your life. That would take several children to be able to complete. And we had 4 of those, and they raced to get those done. They absolutely enjoyed that. And the next thing that we did, let's see, for his orders, that one is my absolute favorite game. And we had a pie, and it had 8 pieces, one for each of the 8 words. So, and it was Velcro. So the children would have to put different things in order. 12 tribes of Israel, the Beatitudes, the feasts, basically something from all the lessons we learned so far. And if they got one of them correct, then they would get a piece of the pie. And the graphics for that game are so adorable. So Selena has some of those there. So that's one of the 7 things Yahweh hates. We have Armor of Elohim there. We have Shemini Atzeret, which is today, one of the fruit of the Ruach, and one of the 10 commandments on there. And we set up the stations so the kids would have a chance to use their team and have enough space to order everything. They had fun. Okay, so another game that we did together was just called Guard the Commands. It's kind of like a capture the flag, but with Torah scrolls. So they had the flags on, and as teams, they had to guard the Torah. And so we talked about how you always have to guard Yahweh's commands with our life for that game. And I think now our children are going to start coming up in a moment. They're going to start coming up to show us the 8 words. So one of the things we did during class was have 8 posters, and we had one of the 8 words on a poster, on each poster, and we had action words that while we were going through the lesson, we talked about what those action words, how they related to that word. So we would do the lesson, and for just an example, one of the first ones, it would be like guard Yahweh's laws. The action would be to guard. So the very first one, the first one that we're going to go over is word, which of course the Hebrew is davar or imrach. And we have to guard Yahweh's word, to treasure his word, trust his word, to wait and pine and love his word. But the one that we chose out of all of the action words was to remember. And we pulled from Psalm 119:16. And we have our student Hunter who's going to recite the memory verse for Psalm 119:16.
I delight myself in your laws. I do not forget your word.
Thank you, Hunter. Okay, so the next one should be laws, which is hukim. And some of the action words were to learn and meditate and observe the laws. But as a class, we chose praise, which is Psalm 119:171. And Kyle's going to recite that verse for us.
My lips pour forth praise, for you teach me your laws.
Amen. Thank you, Kyle. Okay, so the next word is way, which is derech. And some of the action words we talked about was being perfect. And that's just in our intent. So we talked about our walk. We talked about establishing the way, rejoicing in the ways of Yahweh, and the song, Walk in the Way of Yahweh, which is cute. But the one we chose for a verse was to recount. And that's from Psalm 119:26. And Dax is going to go ahead and tell us that verse.
For I've recounted my ways, and you have answered me. Teach me your laws.
Amen. Thank you. Next, we have right rulings, which is, again, mishpatim. So we had recount on that one as well, to learn, to long for, praise. But the one that stood out the most to us was hold level, and that's in Psalm 119, verse 30, which the lovely Sahara is going to say for us.
I have chosen the way of truth. Your right rulings I have held level.
Thank you. Good job. Next is Torah, which is teachings or instructions. And we have to guard the Torah, of course, delight in the Torah, and love the Torah. The one that we chose was to study the Torah, and that's in Psalm 119, verse 97, which Asher is going to say for us.
Oh, how I love your Torah. It is my study all day long.
Thank you. Okay, next we have orders, the Pikudim, and we have to guard the orders, meditate on the orders, observe the orders, and count as right. But we also chose to remember Yahweh's orders, and this is from Psalm 119:93, which Korah is going to say for us.
Let me not forget your orders, for by them you have given me life.
Yay, thank you. Okay, and then we have commands, which is mitzvot. We have to run with the commands, keep the commands, delight in Yahweh's commands, long for his commands. But the one that we chose is to trust in Yahweh's commands, and we'll find that in Psalm 119, verse 66. And Frank is going to go ahead and demonstrate that for us.
Teach me good sense and knowledge, for I have trusted in your commands.
Thank you. Okay, and our very last one is the witnesses. Iduth. So we have to observe the witnesses, of course, delight in the witnesses, speak on the witnesses. But we chose rejoice, and that is in Psalm 119, 111, which Lily is going to say for us.
Your witnesses are my inheritance forever, for they are the joy of my heart.
All right, thank you. Okay, guys, so that's all that happened in Catan B. Just wait for the slideshow.
All right, beautiful job, Katanvi. Okay, so now I will have the Gadol teachers come on up and tell you what the Gadol class have been learning this week. I do want to say that there are 2 students in there that actually started out with us back in Catan A, and they have transitioned all the way to Gadol. So that is Judah Jackson, and then there is also Andrea Hoffman. So.
Hasamek, everyone. Hasamek. My name is Cliff Madison, a Gadol teacher for the 2nd feast in a row. It's definitely exciting. Thank you. And I'm also the MTOI Houston extension lead as well, so you can get in contact with us per the announcements as well. First and foremost, we would like to give a special thanks to our amazing YMTOI director, Rebison Julie, definitely, and her amazing staff and team. Also, MTOI leadership as well. Some additional special shout outs to Selena, Ms. Vera, and also Representative Julie for our amazing crafts during this feast, as well as Alexa from Urbana and Jessica for our games and activities. And then also Miss Melissa from Las Vegas being our full-time photographer. Thanks so much. I did not forget about you. And then also the amazing snack team, and also Rabbi Tom, who we had an awesome lunch with the Godol team yesterday. So thank you so much. And also, last but not least, our amazing co-teacher, Miss Monique Edwards, and then also our full-time teacher helper, Alexa, and then our volunteer helpers as well, Lorna, and also Janet Garcia. Thank you. Also, parents, loved ones, guardians, you should be extremely proud of your teens. They were well behaved during this feast, and they had some really great engagement along the way. So you should be definitely proud of them, for sure. All right, during our class, we also looked at Psalm 119, and then our 8 special words, Torah, right rulings, the witnesses, commands, laws, orders, word, and also ways. And what we wanted to do is bring some real world application, similar to Rabbi who's currently teaching the Hasatan teaching, and then also the Level Up class, which is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Rabbi Steve. And it's all about self-awareness and also accountability. And so within the Godol class, we were able to do that and strive as teachers to provide, again, real-world applications. So we also shared some story times. We were a little bit vulnerable as teachers, some lessons learned, some lessons learned in our lives, and then also we performed a pretty funny skit, which was pretty awesome. All with the engaging outcome to truly observe ourselves and be aware of our own behaviors and actions. For those that know me, I really like art and also music, specifically piano. And I was a little transparent in the class in which I voluntarily let the class know that I never wrote a poem before. And as you know, in the Psalms, it's very poetic. And so the Godot class was paying attention when I said I never wrote a poem. And they challenged me immediately to write a poem. So, Godot class, this is for you. All right. Okay, all right. I'm doing it. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, how I love your Torah and your commands, that I can walk by your ways in this land. Guide my path, the light upon my feet, that I can extinguish darkness and deceit. We know your word is true, giving me right rulings, laws, witnesses, orders, so I know exactly what to do. I did not use AI to write this poem. I did it completely on my own. All I can say now is Ha Sameach and Shalom. Thank you very much.
I think we need to give him one more round of applause because we don't know how crazy that was for him to do it. Good job, Cliff. Impressed, totally. Well, thank you guys so much. I am Maura Monique, and I just wanted to let you guys know we had some awesomely talented students this time. I learned that somebody, not gonna name names, started to write a novel. I didn't get to read all of it, but the first couple chapters were amazing. We have artists that draw creepy hands with 6 fingers or so, some compassionate guides through the games. We have builders and farmers, potential comedians, Judah potentially, I don't know, mustaches during snack time. We even have a budding musician, and there may or may not have been a rap battle for Psalm 119. That's still ongoing. Judah, I'll get you on the next one. So just know that each and every one of your children, they are beautiful, they are magnificent, they are extraordinarily fun and valued by both Maury, Cliff, and I. We had a chance to ask Rebbitzin what her vision was for Gadol, especially with Psalm 119, and the thing that she expressed more than anything was she wanted them to know that they could run to Yahweh for anything just like King David did. I had asked the students, is it more important that you never mess up or that you get everything right all the time? And that's because King David tended to have a couple mess ups, but he also triumphed in a lot of areas too, but he figured out how to get back on the path. I shared with them and we asked questions like, how do you know that Yahweh is trustworthy? That the goal always is Yahweh wanting to make a case for himself throughout their whole life, that he sees us and that he loves us, and he only wants what's best for us all the time. And their job is to pay attention from here on out. So we had a really fun class, very engaging, very intelligent students. We had a chance to play some games like Know His Orders. So the kids had to put things like the 10 Commandments, the tribes, all in order. I would say Nico and Kenan probably aced that one pretty well. We had a word search, and some of the students found more words than what were actually in there. I'm not going to name names on that one either. And I just wanted to share some of the crafts that we did. So we had a chance to do a light catcher, and that's from the Psalm 119, 105, and you guys have heard that recited multiple times. So Maury Cliff has that, and we're going to have Kenan and Leah come up as well to show their crafts. Tilt it forward a little bit, Kenan. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, the next thing that we had was the menorah. And really, we were looking up treasuring up his word. Comfort was another key word, strength and wisdom. Savannah, can you come up? Thank you. I think, though, that the most fun that they had, thanks, Savannah, was the collage. And when I asked Miss Vera about it, she just really wanted the children to have an opportunity for some creative expression. So we got to use the 8 special words, puffy paint that sometimes puffs up way too much, rocks, and the like. So we have Andrea. Or, excuse me, we're going to go in this order now. I can pivot. Sure. We have Jacob. I can't see who's behind that. I think that's Kenan. Okay, Savannah, Andrea, Leah, and Nella, and they're not all holding their collages. Some of them are representing other students' collage. Very good. All right, thank you guys so much. Again, we really appreciated having all your students, and we're really looking forward to Pesach, which may or may not have other poetry or artistic things from either one of your teachers. Shalom.
All right, thank you, Gadol class. So we're going to conclude today's presentation with a video called Together Time. Normally we would also do a thank you slide, but we're going to save that for services later because we're kind of running out of time here. And so you'll be looking forward to that one this afternoon. But let's go ahead and play the slide. But I do want to thank my photographers who, because of them, we were able to make this slideshow. So thank you, Carrie, for running the photography team. Thank you to Eddie for doing Torah Tots. Thank you to Carrie for doing Katan A, Olivier for Katan B, and Melissa for doing Gadol. So we're going to go ahead and play you a slideshow. Now, parents, don't leave until you've picked up your children's crafts with their bags, okay? So and then we'll go to lunch. Thank you.
All right, amen. Awesome job, children. And you know, it's funny. Every year I enjoy hearing them still singing along with the slideshow. Especially they were singing Brianna's song. That was great. They were really doing a great job with that. All right. Excellent job, teachers, staff, volunteers, everybody that helped with the program. Excellent job, parents that helped make sure your children learned the songs and got the words done and all that kind of good stuff. All right, and of course, a special excellent job to Rebitz and Julian, her team that put the whole thing together, okay? Fantastic. All right, so a couple other things I needed to mention real quickly before we dismiss because we are running a little late, so I'm going to do this quickly. One, parents, your Catan B and younger children cannot be going to these restrooms out here unattended. They are leaving things running, they are leaving messes, they're leaving problems. And if you've got a Catan B child that's not happy with that idea, well, then they may want to get on their friends or whoever it is making the mess, all right? Don't let your children go without being watched. If they'll just go and you won't know, well, then why would you not know where your child is? Because some of you are like, well, I just didn't know they went. Well, you should know where your, 12 and under kid is, okay? I mean, I think that's important. The other thing is, as we go and dismiss now in about 5 seconds here when I finish, please let the AV and praise team people go first. So you guys just work your way to the front of the line. People let you in front of them, okay? Just let the praise team guys so they can get their food and get over back here to just do a little bit extra rehearsal. All right, with that, shalom, everyone. We'll see you at services at 1:45.